This is Captain the Fan Master here, and welcome to another Captain's Log. Today, I'm going to be talking about something interesting. As many of you know, maybe, recently released for iOS and Android was the new Dungeon Keeper game from Electronic Arts. This game gives me a headache every time I look at it. If you don't know what the Dungeon Keeper series is, I'll give you a quick rundown. Dungeon Keeper 1 and Dungeon Keeper 2 were both released for the PC somewhere in the 1990s, in the early 2000s, I believe. If you consider Dungeon Keeper 2, I think it was released in the early 2000s. The first one was released sometime in 1990. They were Bullfrog games, and Bullfrog games are generally good games. Practically all are. They have a really nice sense of humor on them, especially Theme Hospital and Dungeon Keeper. Both have really dark senses of humor. And they're really nice visual style. They look really cool. They're fun to play. I'll put a link in the description to goodoldgames.com where you can go buy any of Bullfrog's games, I think, at the moment, from Dungeon Keeper to Populous to Theme Hospital to whatever you want so far. And the man who made Dungeon Keeper, his name is Peter Molyneux. He made Dungeon Keeper 2, Populous, and most of Bullfrog's games, I believe. I might be wrong on most, but this man is a genius. He's really good at this. He's really good at what he does. And he recently redid the Curiosity What's Inside the Cube, and his most recent game is Goddess. So you can go check that out on Steam if you want. I'll put a link in the description below as well. The new Dungeon Keeper game, it's made by EA. EA, the reason I mention this is because EA is the king, or queen, however you look at it, of monetization. And I say that because they tend to take games that they make, and they generally own a lot of defunct studios like Bullfrog, and so they in turn own their IPs. So they have control over Dungeon Keeper and Populous Theme Park. They even have the control of the Roller Coaster Tycoon series, which went downhill after Roller Coaster Tycoon 3D. No, they don't have it. Excuse me, that was Atari. Never mind, ignore that fact. But, Dungeon Keeper for the iOS is insane. It's full of in-app purchases, which isn't a surprise. It's fine. That's fine so far. It's full of in-app purchases. That usually happens with free games nowadays. Did I mention it's free? It's free. Secondly, from what I've read, I can't actually play the game myself because at the moment I don't have a device that can play it. I've read a lot of things, especially, and I'll link this review that I found on a wonderful website called Touch Arcade, and it talks about all kinds of iOS games. I'll link that in the description below. You can read it for yourself. Apparently, not only is the game seems to have kept its humor, apparently, so that's good. But the dungeons in the game are smaller. And that's a bad thing, because in the original Dungeon Keeper, you can be creative with your dungeon. You can make it however you want to. You could build a long tunnel and have like separating like dome-like or circle rooms if you so desire. You can have giant square treasuries and then like small hatcheries where you can have like your tiny little orange chicken guys if you so desired. But the thing in the new Dungeon Keeper, the room they gave you for the dungeons is smaller. And according to Touch Arcade, there's only like 2 optimal dungeon layouts. Otherwise, you will fail. The game basically punishes you for being creative. What? What kind of bullcrap is that? Also, they keep EA, every time they update the game, they keep raising the in-app purchases. So, I think the original price, you get 2 imps at the beginning. The imp guys are little guys you use to do your work and build your tunnels and whatnot. An extra imp costs like, I don't know, 300 gems when the game first came out, which is a lot, because the gems are the premium currency of the game, which means it trickles out very slowly through the course of the game. And you can get more if you just throw your money at EA. I mean, why not? Ugh. I hate people who do that, but whatever. I can't say I hate them. I dislike them. I think they're stupid. I could say I hate them, but I don't want to. And it's just, and they keep raising the prices, so you finally, can you imagine this? Imagine this. Do it, I'm telling you to. You're playing the game, and you finally, for some reason, you're playing the game, and you finally get enough, you get your 300 gems, you're gonna go buy a third imp, so you can build your dungeon even faster. I'll get to how fast that takes in a moment. And then you go to buy the imp, and the price has been raised to 350. Okay. That's fine. I guess I can save another 50 gems. You do that again. You save another 50 gems after however many odd hours you spend doing that. Then you go to buy it again. Price has been raised again. This time, let's say I buy another 50 or buy 100, and it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going and going, and so far it hasn't stopped. By the time this video gets out, it may have. But the fact of the matter is that EA kept rising and is trying so hard to milk their customers all their money. And this has happened a lot recently, and I'm not liking the way this is going, because it shouldn't be happening. I can deal with in-app purchases if they're optional. And it is completely optional. I'm not saying you should, but the way I don't want them forced upon me. I don't want to be forced. There's these things called paywalls, and that's what we call them. And if anyone who delves into these things know what they're called. Paywalls is this is very evident in Candy Crush Saga if you've ever played that game. What happens is a game usually there's like a spike in difficulty or something that's required to progress, like a Dungeon Keeper, like say you need a certain amount of gems to do a thing. That's a paywall, because it'd be like, oh, you could just spend hours tapping on their game just to get 4 gems a day until you get like enough to do this thing, or you could just throw $100 at us and have all the gems you want. That's stupid. Who would ever pay $100 for a free game? It's not free. The game is not free. You shouldn't have to spend money on a game to enjoy it. Other than, well, okay, that's you shouldn't. If the game is free, you shouldn't have to spend money in order to play the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's free already. And I can understand premium games, like Grand Theft Auto 5, you obviously have to pay it in order to get it because, it's a premium game for an Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3, what have you. But then, it bothers me, And then there's definitely paywalls evident in Dungeon Keeper, let me tell you. So, at the beginning of the game, and I'll put a picture up, you're given a square, I believe. You're given a nice little square, you're given your 2 imps, you go through the tutorial, it pokes fun at the fact that there's in-app purchases, blah 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 blah. And then, you go to dig the first block out. You know how long it takes you? 4 hours. What? What? 4 hours? I just got the game. Why should I have to wait 4 hours just so I can dig one tiny little block? And then I have to do it again and again, and it takes you days just to dig out a square. A tiny little room so you can put your treasury or something in. You can't even play the game until you've waited a few days just so you can. That doesn't make any sense. If anyone, I would gladly love to have someone explain to me how that makes sense. Please tell me. I would love to know because it's been boggling my mind. And then, not only is it 4 hours, but then the next square you dig out is going to take an entire day. There's literally a picture, and I will post it up here. One block is 4 hours, the block next to it is 24 hours. And, it just takes you have 2 imps. So it takes you a day and 4 hours to dig out 2 blocks. Who is going to do that? Who is going to do that? Who? Honestly, I don't understand. I would not, and especially in a game like Dungeon Keeper, I can understand waiting for a few days in a game like Candy Crush Saga, because all that is Bejeweled. It's different there, sort of. because you just play a little bit and you're like, okay, I'm done.